my Steam's getting hacked.
And it's actually a virus happening again. It's happening.
It's mining Bitcoin. It's unironically mining!
What if I told you the gaming platform we all love, Steam, isn't 100% safe? I found evidence of crypto miners, malware, and outright scams. Let me take you back a couple of months ago where this all started. It was just another day and I was looking for a new game to play. I found one that sparked my interest, so I decided to scroll down and read a few of the reviews. That's when I seen a review that got my attention. The reviewer casually mentioned that the game was a Bitcoin miner. This sparked my curiosity. What did they mean by a Bitcoin miner? And how is it connected to a game on Steam? I decided to look into it. A quick Google search later and I was led to a game called Abstractism, a simple 2D game that was removed from Steam after allegations that it was a hidden cryptocurrency miner. The game, which only cost $1, was reported to increase CPU and GPU usage well beyond what a simple 2D game should require. The developer, Okelo Union, claimed that this was due to post-processing effects rendering required when running on high graphics settings. But this didn't make sense. A game with such simple visuals shouldn't require so much processing power. Really quick, for anybody that might not fully understand what's going on here, here's a quick breakdown. It's a random night and you're sitting there looking for a new game to play. You found one that you like, so you download the game, launch it, and go on with your night having a blast. But little did you know, behind the scenes, your computer's been turned into a workhorse, running at full capacity, mining cryptocurrency for another person. With your computer working its ass off, it starts to overheat, slow down, increase your electricity bill, and even damage itself, and you didn't even know about it. Alright, so now that you understand what's going on, take a look at this sketchy file I found in Abstractism's directory named steamservice.exe. This file reportedly set off many anti-malware services for allowing remote execution of commands, which would be necessary for communicating with a cryptocurrency platform. The developer claimed that this file was necessary to control the game's inventory service, which provides randomized item drops. The evidence was stacking up against them. The game was eventually removed from Steam, but the question remained: how many other games on Steam were hiding similar secrets? As I continued to look into it, I found that the issue of hidden crypto miners was not limited to just one game. There were reports of other games on Steam that were suspected of similar activities. Each game had a common thread. They were all relatively unknown, low-cost games that seemed to require an unusually high amount of processing power. The discovery of these hidden crypto miners was alarming, but unfortunately it was just one of the dark things going on Steam. Now, let's shift our focus to a more devious and invasive threat that has been found on Steam: malware. Malware, short for malicious software, is designed to damage, disrupt, or gain unauthorized access to computer systems. And Steam, with its vast user base, has not been immune to such attacks. In fact, the platform has seen its fair share of malware incidents over the years. One such incident that stands out occurred in October 2023. Hackers managed to compromise the Steam accounts of multiple game developers. They used this unauthorized access to push updates laced with malware to games, effectively turning legitimate software updates into Trojan horses. One of the game's Nanowar Cells vs. Virus became an unwitting pawn in this scheme. Its developer, Benoit Freslon, fell victim to malware that stole his browser access tokens. This breach allowed the attackers to gain temporary access to any web service he was logged into, including his Steam developer account. Valve, the company behind Steam, acted swiftly by contacting the fewer than 100 users who had installed the compromised games, directly informing them of the malware threat. In response to this and similar incidents, Valve actually introduced a new security measure requiring game developers to pass a two-factor authentication check before updating the default branch of a released game. Now, it's a bit of a relief to hear Steam actually implemented some extra security measures to prevent further things like this from happening. But there's a whole nother problem taking place on Steam that needs to get resolved. What is that problem? Scams. I came across my first Steam scam a few months ago when I was recording a video playing all of the $1 Steam games. Now, one of these games I bought literally just didn't work. When I launched it, it just showed an update button, and when you clicked it, it just loaded a Google Play error page. Now, I wasn't too mad over this since you can return games on Steam and get a refund, but it made me think about all the other scams that could potentially be taking place on Steam. And not to my surprise, with a little bit of research, there is. One of the more more recent popular scams to hit the Steam platform involves the highly anticipated game The Day Before. The Day Before was a game that was promised to be a groundbreaking zombie survival MMO. It was one of the most wishlisted games on Steam, fueled by impressive trailers and massive hype. However, when it finally launched, it quickly became apparent that the game was nothing like what was promised. Instead of an expansive MMO, players received a broken, barely functional extraction shooter. The graphics and gameplay were far from the polished preview shown in the trailers. Within days of its release, the game was bombarded with overwhelmingly negative reviews, and the developer Fantastic announced the game was a financial failure and that they were shutting down the studio. But here's where it gets a little interesting. Shortly after these announcements, everything related to The Day Before began to disappear quickly. The game was pulled from Steam, the developer's website was wiped clean, and all promotional videos were removed from their YouTube channel. Even the social media profiles associated with the game and its developers went dark. This was the icing on the cake to confirm this whole thing was a scam from the start. They overpromised and lied in their trailers, then released a broken, barely functional game, took the money, and then disappeared. Now, The Day Before isn't an isolated case. Steam has had to deal with multiple instances of fake game pages and scams. Earlier this year, over 800 games were removed from Steam after a scam involving fake game pages came to light. These pages were set up to mimic legitimate games, but were actually fronts for scams collecting money from users without delivering the promised content. Another widespread scam on Steam is the "I accidentally reported you" scam. Now, this scam exploits the fear of having one's account banned or suspended. Here's how it typically unfolds. You might receive a message from another Steam user claiming they've mistakenly reported your account for illegal activities or violations. They will express their concern about your account being banned and suggest that you contact a so-called Steam admin to resolve the issue. This admin is actually a part of the scam. They might ask for your login credentials, Steam guard codes, or other personal information to verify your identity to cancel the false report. The goal of these scammers is to gain access to your account, steal your digital items, or even lock you out of your own account. Now, Steam's official support page clearly states that any claims of being accidentally or falsely reported are scams. Valve employees will never communicate with you about your account using any chat system, including Steam Chat and Discord. Now, after uncovering the layers of scams, malware, and hidden crypto miners lurking on Steam, I want to share some simple methods you can do to prevent any of these from happening to you. Before purchasing or downloading a game, just do a bit of research. Check out the game developer's page, look at the history of the publisher, and probably the best and most simple method is to just look at the reviews. If it's a scam, the odds are there will be negative reviews warning you of this. Now, for account security, the best method is to enable Steam Guard. Steam Guard adds an extra layer of security to your Steam account by requiring a special access code to log in from an unrecognized device. If you don't know how to set this up, I'll leave a link to Steam's guide on how to do it in the description of the video. There are most definitely other scams taking place on Steam that I don't know about and didn't cover in this video. If any of you watching this have ever been a victim to a scam on Steam, please feel free to share about it in the comments. You never know, it could prevent someone else watching this from being the next victim of a Steam scam.